Thank you. Thank you. That's good. I think I'm done, actually. They laughed at that. Has anybody been to a bar recently? Yeah? Good for you. I was at a bar, and I was talking to this girl. You know, we're getting along. I was almost at the point where I put the roofie in. No, I'm kidding. I don't have enough money to roofie. I had the sleepy time tea bag. Every time she looked away, I would dip it in real quick. Don't roofie, women. But like I said, I was talking to this girl, we're getting along, and then this old guy, like 40, comes out of nowhere. This 50-year-old comes out of nowhere. And he's like, this guy doesn't know how to have sex with you. This guy doesn't know how to treat a lady. And when someone insults you, and it's true, there's not much you could say besides like, hey, or nuh-uh. So he's like, this guy doesn't know how to have sex with you. I'm like, hey, nuh-uh. Anyways, he starts flashing his money and buying her drinks, and he steals her from me. Gold digging bitch. I said, I gotta get this guy back. And every guy in here knows the best way to get another guy back is to fuck his mom. You said it. There you go. Fuck his mom. So I said, I'm gonna fuck this guy's mom, you know? So I find out who he is, you know, and doing all this hard work, and I did it. I fucked his mom. Boy, was it hard work. Does anyone know how hard it is to dig up a grave that's been buried for 20 years? Comedy Dark, hey, how you doing? Oh, man. Hey, I think they should. Anybody cheat? You cheat? Pussy. No, I'm kidding. You're good. You look like a good man. Good. Nobody cheat. But if you're like a serial cheater, you know, like serial cheaters, they can't get off the dating apps. You know, I think they're more addicted to the dating app than they are to cheating. So I think what they should do is they should create like an app of like a dating app that you swipe through, but it's just dead people, you know? And you could get the motion out, you know? You could be like, oh, I would've. But she's dead, you know? I think that's a good idea. I have trouble with women, as you can tell. My last girlfriend, what was up with my last girlfriend? No, I'm kidding. Alright. No, I know my jokes, I swear I do. She was one of those ones that are like in the stars and the rocks. What's that? She was a preschooler. She's a preschooler. My last girlfriend, she called me a germaphobe. I wouldn't kiss her after she gave head to other guys. She's a bit of a whore. You know, I should have known. You know, anytime someone said, get a load of this guy, she opened her mouth. You. Thanks. I guess that's a compliment at the Comedy Dark show. Where are the Jews at? Yeah. Black Israelites. Amen, brother. No, Jews. I'm half Jewish, and a lot of people don't believe me when I say that, because like I was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid. So growing up, people always told me, I think Hitler would have liked you. Which I think is a crazy thing to say to a 6-year-old, you know? That the most evil man in the world would have liked you. At a certain point, I started going, I think me and Hitler would have been friends, you know? It's not because I agreed with any of his policies. Hearing this guy would have liked me, I didn't have any friends. But I was Jewish, and I went to this Jewish sleepaway camp. You know, it was like a Jewish sleepaway camp, and we would play like dodgeball at this camp. And like each team on playing dodgeball had a counselor, like on each team. And they kind of made like a pact that you wouldn't go for the kids, the counselors would just go for the other counselors, you know, playing dodgeball. Because, you know, they could get hurt. But our counselor his name was Guy from Israel. You know, when we asked him why his name was Guy, he said it made him harder to sue. you know? It's like, I want to sue that guy. It's like, of course you want to sue a guy. What's his name? Guy. But anyways, we had Guy on our team. And, you know, Guy, he didn't care. He didn't believe in that, you know, dodgeball only go for the other counselor. Guy from Israel, he had like a rocket of an arm. Guy from Israel, he would just be missiling these kids, you know, he just non-stop bombardment. He didn't care. Asthma, wheelchair, starving. You know, Guy was just missiling these kids. Guy from Israel was missiling these kids, you know, and we're like, Guy, what are you doing, you know? Eventually, like, he started throwing the balls into the crowd and getting the kids who weren't even in yet. And we're like, what are you doing? And he's like, it's a preemptive throw. I have to do it now. Eventually, they will be in the game. He started moving the midline up where you get the balls further and further until their backs were just against the wall. And then he bombed Iran. What a country that is, Israel. Make some noise and support Israel. Make some noise if pee-pee poo-poo. Alright. We're getting edgy here at Comedy Dark. Yeah, you guys, you know, but do you guys notice that, like, really, I don't know if you've seen this, like, rabbis, they do the circumcision at brisks, you know? And the really orthodox rabbis will go as far as to lick the blood off of the baby's penis after, yeah. So I'm getting my rabbi certification. You want to be a rabbi? No, I'm kidding. I don't want to lick baby. It's just that mine was licked, you know. My as a kid, Rabbi Brian licked mine, you know. And you know, nowadays women will try to do blowjobs, you know. It's just never as good as your first time, I have to tell them. I like Rabbi Brian. I had a Muslim friend who wanted to convert to Judaism, you know, and he wanted the circumcision, he wanted it all, and I referred him to Rabbi Brian, and he was like, yeah, I was like, you should be known, he's a licker. He's like, that's fine, I want it licked, you know. Right? We're at his bar circumcision party, and whatever the fuck that's about, you know. And Rabbi Brian, he goes up to it and he brisks it, and then he doesn't lick it. I was like, Rabbi Brian, you licked the baby one, why didn't you lick that? And he's like, well, you know, it's not kosher, he's an adult, I don't really need to. I'm like, Rabbi Brian, you licked mine, you gotta lick that one. He's like, no, well, really, I don't want to, you know, and I grabbed the back of his head, I'm like, you lick that fucking cock, Rabbi, you suck that fucking cock! That was the end of that circumcision party. How should we end this circumcision party? You want my jokes? There you go. Alright. Throw them back. Alright. Thank you, everybody. My name's Alex.
He was going for Alex, huh?